Welcome to Savita Lecturecast series. Topic for today's discussion is space infections. In this series, we'll learn about facial layers of head and neck. Fascias are basically broad sheets of dense connective tissue meant to separate muscles and glands and form pathways for neural and vascular structures. They also enclose a lot of loose areolar tissue, which upon infection becomes liquefied, forming abscess or pus. These abscess or pus create spaces, and thus spaces are anatomically absent but potentially existing. Facial layers of the head and neck can be classified as superficial fascia and deep cervical fascia. Superficial fascia is inseparable from the skin and comprises the subcutaneous component of the skin. Infection of this space constitutes the subcutaneous space infection. Deep cervical fascia is divided into anterior layer which encircles the entire neck, middle layer which encircles the visceral organs, and posterior layer which encircles the vertebrae. Anterior layer is further divided into investing layer of deep cervical fascia, parotidomasseteric fascia, and temporal fascia. Investing layer of deep cervical fascia starts from the clavicle anteriorly, extending until the spinous process of vertebrae posteriorly. As it ascends up, it surrounds the trapezius sternocleidomastoid muscle and also the submandibular gland. Upon reaching the lower border of the mandible, it splits to surround the masticator muscles, thus forming the masticator spaces. Investing layer of deep cervical fascia close to the mandible lower border splits into lateral and medial ends. The medial surface covers the medial pterygoid muscle and reaches the base of the skull. Lateral aspect of the investing layer of deep cervical fascia continues superiorly as the parotidomasseteric fascia, which covers the parotid posteriorly and masseter anteriorly. From there, it continues superiorly as the temporal fascia. From the zygomatic arch, the investing layer of deep cervical fascia continues as the temporal fascia over the temporalis muscle. Second layer of the deep cervical fascia, the middle layer, constitutes of three parts: sternohyoid-omohyoid division, sternothyroid-thyrohyoid division, and the visceral division. The first two layers are muscular components which encloses the respective muscles. The third layer, visceral layer, consists of pretracheal, buccopharyngeal, and the retropharyngeal division. Pretracheal layer exists below the hyoid bone. Here, it covers the trachea, esophagus, and the thyroid gland. Above the hyoid bone, the middle layer exists as buccopharyngeal and the retropharyngeal division. Here, it covers the lateral and the posterior parts of the pharynx. The part which covers the lateral part of the pharynx on the superficial side of the pharyngeal constrictor is called as the buccopharyngeal fascia, and the one which covers the posterior aspect of the pharynx is called as the retropharyngeal fascia. The third layer of the deep cervical fascia, posterior layer, consists of alar division and the prevertebral division. These two layers exist from the skull base until the diaphragm. The alar fascia passes through the transverse process of vertebrae on either side posterior to the retropharyngeal fascia. The prevertebral fascia surrounds the vertebrae and the attached postural muscles of the neck and back. The prevertebral fascia lies just anterior to the periosteum of vertebrae. Clinical significance of alar and the prevertebral fascia is the presence of danger space. Danger space exists between the alar and prevertebral fascia extending from the skull base until the diaphragm, thus reaching the anterior mediastinum. Hence the name danger space. Infection from the pharyngeal or the maxillofacial region has direct access to the retropharyngeal fascia and the retropharyngeal space. Retropharyngeal space is the space between alar fascia and the retropharyngeal fascia. The retropharyngeal fascia fuses with the alar fascia at a level variable between 6th cervical vertebrae to 4th thoracic vertebrae. Thereby, this forms the bottom surface of the retropharyngeal space. So, an infection from the maxillofacial region or the pharyngeal region after entering the retropharyngeal fascia can pierce the alar fascia and get direct access to the danger space, by which the infection can spread into the anterior mediastinum. The final portion of the head and neck fascia includes the carotid sheath, which is believed to be derived from the alar fascia by a few authors, while a few others believe it is derived from all the three layers of the neck fascia. This carotid sheath ensheaths the most vital structures of the neck, namely the carotid artery, vagus nerve, and the internal jugular vein. On the posterior aspect of the carotid sheath, cervical sympathetic chain is attached. Carotid sheath begins from the point of origin of carotid artery in the anterior mediastinum and ascends superiorly towards the jugular foramen in the cranial base. Thus, an infection of the carotid sheath has direct access to anterior mediastinum and to the cranial base. Hence, this was called as the Lincoln's Highway by Mosher in 1929. Thank you.